Hello and welcome back as we interview businesses in central Pennsylvania. I am so excited to be here with Jo Reisch today, who is a pet treat baker. She owns Chen Patisserie and just so excited to share her story. She joined us at the 2024 UnConference. Thank you so much for joining me today, Jo.
Thank you for having me.
Great. So first, share just like what your business is today. Like, what do you do?
And so I do exactly what you said I do. I bake and sell treats for dogs. So my treats, I label myself as an artisan dog bakery. All of my treats are gluten and wheat free. Yeah, so it ranges anywhere from biscuits to pies and cakes and lots of stuff in between.
That's very cool. And I will say, because I was on your Facebook, and actually I was scrolling through my newsfeed, and at first I wasn't sure if the picture was yours or if it was from like the gluten-free bakery down the road. Like that's how fancy these dog treats are that you're making.
Yeah, they are. They're not to toot my own horn, but toot toot. They're pretty cool, pretty nice. At least I think so. And I've gotten
Yeah.
feedback. And thank you for saying that.
Yeah. Oh, they look amazing. So how long have you been doing this, Joe?
So my business has been around since about February of 21.
Okay.
I did test my market a little bit before I became completely legitimate. So come this February, it'll be 4 years.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
So share a little bit about your journey, if you would, because I I'm not sure that 20 years ago you'd be like, you know what, one day I want to be an artisan dog treat bakery. Right.
Right, for sure. Absolutely. So during the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to be able to work remotely during the whole sort of shutdown. And prior to the pandemic, I was already baking. Like I've always had a love for baking, but somewhere like a passion kicked in. And I've always been a creative soul. I have a background in music and dance. And as those creative outlets sort of were winding down for me, the older that I got, I was like, oh, well, what else can I do? So I started baking. And my intention was completely to start a home based bakery for people. So I was testing recipes and working on technique and all of that stuff. And then COVID happened. So I didn't feel comfortable moving forward until we kind of got through that. And in the interim of COVID, like everybody started being cupcake bakers and bread bakers. And right, you saw a lot of those things popping up. And I thought, okay, I don't know if this is a good idea anymore. But then we adopted a dog, like many other people did during COVID. And once I adopted the dog, the day that we picked him up from the shelter to take him home, I made little cupcakes for all the dogs because I just felt like baking and cooking is a love language for me. And I just felt so bad leaving all the other dogs there without a home.
Oh,
So we took our little cupcakes in. We got to feed all the dogs, before we left. It was so fantastic. And, we took my dog Storm home. And that's when like it hit me all of the baking skills that I learned, all of the baking chemistry, all of the technique, I could transition to something else and potentially maybe even some things that haven't been seen before, at least in our area. So that's what I did. That's how it all started.
gosh. I love that. I love that story. Yeah, I mean, we did see so many home bakers pop up. The fact that you were able to channel that into, I mean, like your stuff looks amazing. I look at that, and I could probably eat it. It probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be, quite what I would expect to taste, but they everything looks so impressive. And I mean, I know everyone was bringing home dogs or um,
Right.
becoming more aware of what they're feeding their dogs to, and
Yeah, absolutely. And that was one of the things for me when I adopted my dog was I really want to be very aware of what I'm putting into his system, into his belly. And so a lot of research happened, not just for me to bake treats, but for me to feed him whatever it is I'm going to feed him, because I want him to live the longest, healthiest life that he could possibly live. And so that became, once I got into baking for Chen Patisserie, like my secondary passion became how healthy can we go? How much can I help educate consumers about everything that I'm learning? Why do I not share that information too? And so I try to.
oh, great. So is Storm your official taste tester?
Oh my gosh, yes. He is the best and the worst taste tester ever. He's the best because he will try anything, and he is the worst because he likes everything. So he really doesn't discriminate.
Yeah, you're like, "Well, this may not actually be a great treat, but Storm's gonna eat it anyway."
He's gonna eat it anyway.
Oh, that's too funny. My lab is like that. She will eat basically anything. I mean,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. You can't trust a dog that eats a rock, you know?
Oh,
Yeah. So, but we get by.
oh, great. So, you have been doing this for 4 years. If you had the opportunity to, like, go back to before you started and give yourself some advice, what would you say to yourself at the very beginning of this journey?
So, like, I have a few like bullet points in mind, right? Like, I've given that question some thought because there are ways in which I feel I started out very strong and did some really smart things, and ways in which I didn't. So I think first of all, I would say like to understand the financials. Like, don't go into it blindly.
Mm,
So have a solid pricing structure right from the get-go, and set financial goals like for monthly, quarterly, and yearly. Even though when you're first starting, you have no idea if you're going to make sales, right? Still, set some goals and be flexible in the plan. And I would say, know your why, like not just the existential, why am I pursuing this dream? I mean, sure, know that, keep that in your heart, but know why someone should choose your business and your products before somebody else's. So, in other words, maybe sell the problem and then offer the solution. Um, like, I wish I had that in the forefront of my mind from the beginning. Um, and to give myself encouragement, like most people don't even start, right? And you can start messy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Um, but just start. And the fact that I just started meant and means that I was way ahead of the pack, right? I already succeeded because at least I started and tried.
yeah.
Um, Not everyone is your customer, and that's okay. That sometimes can be a tough lesson.
It was a hard one.
Yeah. Establish connections with other like minded business owners early on. It is so helpful, more than you could ever know. And have a plan for growth. At the beginning, you might not think you're going to grow. And so you don't necessarily need to have that plan for a while, but establish it soon and early because it will happen as long as you're consistent.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. And when it happens, if you don't have a plan, because I've learned this from experience and heard from other people. If you don't have a plan and all of a sudden that growth starts happening, then it's a scramble.
Yeah. And honest to gosh, that's where I am right now. Like, I didn't establish that plan. And now I'm like, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I don't really know how to handle this. And it's a good problem to have, but it still can be stressful and overwhelming.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Joe, for sharing a little bit more about your story. And we are going to share Joe's Facebook page and website link along with this video. So make sure you go check her out. If you're in Central PA, definitely go check out her dog treats. They look amazing. And if you are interested in anything the Covation Center has to offer, like our UnConference that Joe attended or any of our master classes, we will have a link along with this video as well. But thank you again, Joe. This was such a great conversation.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.